focus, determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live coverage Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Good morning, good evening, hello, wherever you may be. Welcome to Apex Racing TV and the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Alex Simpson, I'm on my Todd. My colleagues look like they're having a little lay-in, little nap. What can I say? Very cushy for them indeed. So yeah, apologies bringing you a little bit late because I'm obviously holding out, waiting for them to try and get here. Right, we're on to the pace lap, so we'll bring up the championship stand-ins as we go through this one. Here we go, about to start the race, and just give you a quick rundown of who was where on the grid. Mike Griffith was pole position, Mike Dam was second place, and yeah, we're away with the Mustangs. Apologies, like I say, I'm a little bit late because I was really hoping that the guys were going to come. Oran Park will take you through the track guide a little bit later on as well, just to give you a bit of a heads up what it takes to do a lap around there. We've got someone around already in the Mustangs. We'll take a quick look. I think that might have been Jeff Jacobs. Very tricky as the MX-5s get underway as well. Travis Finke leading the way. He got himself a pole position. John Allen was second. Brian Holmes was third. And a great start from all of those guys as well, just maintaining the positions. Of course, figure of 8 circuit, Oran Park. If you don't know this track very well, just bring it up on screen very, very quickly for us as well. Of course, not in the booth, just me. But now a long race today. Obviously, we're off the back of the hour-and-a-half one at Road America, which was an absolute fantastic race. Really come down to the wire, and I think this is going to be another good one as well. So Mike Dam obviously had some poor luck last week as well. Again, looking strong. Connection issues for him. Robbed him of a potential victory there as well. Anything could have happened, of course, so he'll be looking to bounce back straight away. Iannucci was having a great race as well, and he's looking strong, already up one place as well in this race. Stephen Thomas off the back of a great result last week as well, looking to continue that run of form. Kevin Ford, good to see him back up there as well. He struggled a little bit last week. Just while these guys are just sort of finding their places, just in these first few laps, just quickly run through championship standings as they stand. Obviously, Mike Dam leading the way, Tyler Shiflett in second, Michael Grims in third, and Stephen Thomas fourth, Iannucci in fifth. They're looking at the bottom end of your GS Pro division there. So Clint Vigus, obviously we know he's going to miss a few more, so we won't see him up there, but hopefully Kevin Ford can get back up there. Mike Griffiths and Mike Ruddock in the open division. Scott Brooks followed by Mike Monaghan and Mike Burgett. Round out your top 5 in the open. Still very, very close in anyone's championship there. Looks like pack starting to spread out. We'll talk about this track in just a moment, actually, because it is very, very technical, and I really expect that the draft is not going to make hardly any difference. And I even think that some of the Mazdas might start to break away as well this week. Although looking at the battle up front right now, you wouldn't believe that. But yeah, so Rob Hartley leads the way in the ST Pro division. Ashley Beard in second place, just a couple of points behind him, and then 1 point behind him is Dave Paynton. I mean, this ridiculously close. Look, John Allen there in fourth place, Brian Holmes. There's nothing between them out there, so absolutely anybody's championship right now. And in the open division, Richard Losper, who's actually having a fantastic season, really showing some great form. And he's doing extremely well. Chris Thorman in second place, not too far behind at all though, and neither is Dan Carrido. So I would expect those guys still got absolutely every opportunity at this championship. Right. Talk a little bit about Oran Park then. Obviously, track doesn't exist anymore. We're in Australia, and of course it was demolished some years back, and iRacing were fortunate enough just to scan it before that happened. So yeah, we seem to have this this circuit on there, and I'm not sure this series has been here before, but a very short little technical track. If we just jump on board with Travis Spenke, he'll give us a little guide around here. But yeah, as you can see, there's the bridge. So we've got that figure of 8. So through turn 1, little short shoot down in towards the right-hander here for turn 2. And not particularly wide track, very narrow, very easy to run off. And like I say, you can see here, there's just not really a great deal of room to use the slipstream here. Up and over the bridge we go, swing to the right. So very, very technical. Trying to get the lines right here, so important. You can see every corner leads into another, so just that opportunity to have that draft like you normally get and to close back in, it's just not going to be there this week for any of the drivers. So I do think once this race sort of opens out a bit, and certainly we get through the pit stop phase, we'll start to see the packs just spread apart, and that is a lap already done. So very, very quick, 1 minute 13 .654 for Travis there. The fastest lap in the last lap by Mike Dam was only a 1 minute 11. So you can see there really isn't a huge deal of time difference here between the two classes. The Mustang really hasn't got an awful lot of area to sort of stretch its legs and use its you know, superior power out there and torque that it has. So the MX-5s really can, as nimble as they are, sort of almost keep up through the corners. So going to be interesting when we do get to the position where we have traffic later on in the race. And yeah, because the Mustangs aren't going to get through very quickly, and not going to be able to use their power to get by. And if they come up with a pack of squabbling MX-5s, no matter what class they're in, it's going to be yeah, it's going to be tricky for them to get by. Mike Dam already out to a 1.3 second lead, and Iannucci and Stephen Thomas having a little go at each other right here. You'd almost be mistaken to believe in those guys are teammates with the green and black liveries on their cars. It may well be. I'm not 100% sure. I think everyone pretty much is sort of running for their own out there. And Kevin Ford doing a great job in fourth place at the moment. Dropped back 2.3 seconds from Stephen Thomas right now. And yeah, like I say, I think we're going to start to see some of this start to happen. It's easy to make a mistake around here though, so we'll keep an eye out for that as well, because very easy to put yourself in the wall and get it all kinds of wrong. And yeah, the bridge you could fall off. I'm talking about getting it all sorts of wrong. Tyler Shiflett all over the place, massive drift, just about holds onto it, keeps it out of the wall for now. And yeah, let's take a quick look at that one back, because yeah, it looked mighty impressive, that's for sure. Where did he lose that? Because I just got onto the dirt as he was braking. That's exactly what we're talking about. It's a very narrow circuit. Did absolutely everything he could to keep it out of the tyre wall, and yeah, it did that. So just lost a couple of places, not too bad. Mike Dam in 5th place. What happened to Dam? Problem for him out there too. We're still on the replay, so we might see this now. Oh, look at that, runs just wide, that narrow track again, catching people out, and then he loops it around as well. Shiflett and Thomas and Iannucci just about avoid him going through that turn 1. You all sort of turn 1, turn 2. You're braking as you turn in there, and really caught out our championship leader there. Oh, this, like I said, this one's not going to be over and done with straight away. It's going to catch a few people out, and we were going to have to keep an eye on that. That's exactly what's happened. Right, Travis Schwenke has got himself past Scott Brooks. Scott Brooks actually lapping slower than the leaders in the MX-5, so they've hunted him down. Of course, they give him a little bit of time at the start to sort of build up a bit of advantage. Has got a little bit of damage on the front there as well, so maybe some sort of accident slowing him up too. But yeah, all of a sudden he's going to get swamped by MX-5. Something these MX-5s are not going to be used to dealing with as well. Brian Holmes already a couple of seconds behind Schwenke now as well, so you won't want that. You want to try and get by as quickly as possible. Someone else on the left there, I think that is Katila. Yeah, Matthew Katila, not sure quite what's happened to him. Covering out there as well, lost a fair amount of time, a 1:24 lap time that one. Scott Brooks just letting everybody go by as well, just to stay out of the way, so that's yeah, that's good on him. Stephen Thomas, he was really pushing Inucci hard just a moment ago, and then of course we saw Dam lose it in front of them. Hasn't quite been able to get as close again, just under a second still. So well in this one. Actually did give Kevin Ford the opportunity to close up as well, 1.4 seconds. I would fully expect that the drivers, as this race got on, they'll be able to just get a little bit more into the rhythm with this circuit as well. It is just one that you start to, as Iannucci goes off as well in exactly the same place that Dam lost it. So probably the toughest corner on the circuit. We're going to see a few go there as well. So Ford up and into second place. What can I say, once you get used to this circuit, the more laps you do, after that about half an hour sort of time, you're going to see the guys really settle into a rhythm and we'll see less mistakes. But right now it was really catching a few of the big names out as well. They're pushing hard, pushing to the limit, and it's causing them to make those mistakes. Big shout out to Ricmotech. Thank you very much for supporting the series as well. Apologies for not being able to give you enough of a plug at the start of this race due to us being a little bit late to the grid there. But of course, if you're interested in any sort of sim racing hardware, high quality sim racing hardware we should have had as well, head on over to Frank's site at tech.com and yeah, take a look and see what he's got on there. Having a quick look, John Allen behind Brian Holmes. These guys are about 2.5 seconds behind Travis now, so that really has that Scott Brooks just getting in between them has allowed Travis to really break away, and he's actually on the tail of Katila now as well. We just have a little look at that. So closing in, last lap was still a few tenths quicker for Travis as well, and actually into the 13s where Steve Thomas sort of 12s. There's only 1 second in between the classes, the fields at the moment. I fully expect that we might see Travis make his way up right into the thick of this Mustang grid today, which would be truly amazing drive if you can do that. So, but yeah, let's keep an eye on it. Last lap, like I say, would have put him right in the middle of that pack. So lap times, with the way these guys are, with the pit stops a little bit shorter in the pits than the Mustangs, and they can go for quite a bit longer as well. So who knows? Got any questions for me? Of course, just drop them on the chat on YouTube. I will try my best to answer you any questions. Leon Wright and Michael Monaghan very, very close, and they've got Jeff Jacobs just tucked up behind them as they swing into the turn one. Again, that tricky break in. Who's that behind them? Mike Griffiths all the way down in 13th place. Not used to seeing him down there, but yep, seemingly struggling at the moment. Last lap time was a 1:12, so as quick as the leaders, so hopefully going to try and make his way back up. Very difficult to overtake here, such a short circuit. Not only short, but also very, very narrow, so just very, very difficult to sort of do that move. What happened there? That was Leon Wright. Just looked like his car just impacted on the floor as he went over the crest there. Massive load of sparks. And it sounded like big damage as well. Was it actually Leon or was it Monaghan? Monaghan possibly with a slowdown or something there. Just take a little look at that on the replay and see who it was. Not sure if it was Michael or it was Leon there. It was a bit of a netcode situation, disappearing and reappearing. Can do that. The worst is when you're at Montreal, just a little tiny little lag, and all of a sudden they appear to be in the wall. Always gets the commentators going. Tom Rathje, very, very close as well now behind Hartley. Hartley just sort of biding his time, I think, at the moment. Tucked up behind Alan. Holmes actually lost a fair bit of ground on the last couple of laps as well. Dropped 3 places in fact. Iannucci starting to close in on the back of Kevin Ford. We'll keep an eye on that one on the live timing. Maybe have to switch that up if he gets any closer. Gonna try and work his way back up and into second position after that mistake just a few laps ago. So worth giving a big bit of a shout out to TD's not here this week. Did turn up for last week, but yeah, of course, supporting the series as he always does. TD Tree Service. Hartley, so close. Sweep through that first left-hander there. When you're tucked up behind, that's really where you're going to struggle. Just sort of a bit of vision through there as well. And let's jump on board with Hartley as well now. We'll see exactly where he's going to sort of struggle when he gets tucked up close. Oh, as he loses a bit of time. Half a second. You can just see the undulations on this circuit as well, which makes it very, very tricky to really sort of throw it in, confident that the car's going to stick. I think this is why the Mustangs are having some issues as well. Just not quite as nimble over the sort of the undulating track as the MX-5s, and these guys in far less powered car really are lapping, you know, very, very close lap times this week. Quite as close this lap for Hartley, lost a little bit of time. Iannucci still half a second behind Kevin Ford. This is this turn 1 as we sweep to the left. Very fast, you sort of throw it in, get on the brakes. Getting a bit of a run. He's got very committed to try and get a move done through there. Oh, as Alan's so close. Getting onto the dirt on the brake in there. Just about saves it a little bit wide through the corner. But Hartley not able to capitalise. Iannucci still stuck behind Ford. I say stuck behind Ford. That's a pretty, does him a bit of a bum deal there because Kevin's driving extremely well, lapping just a couple of tenths off of Thomas at the moment, but keeping him sort of in range. If Stephen makes a mistake, he's going to be able to pounce, no question. Mike Dam closing up on these guys as well. He's still lapping just about the quickest out there. Going to close in on Pascal shortly. 3 seconds. It's going to take a good sort of 10-15 laps at that sort of pace. So quick, but not absolutely blowing them away. And I think it is a case of it's a circuit that not a lot of drivers have driven on, so there's not a lot of experience out there. Going to start to see some lapped cars soon though, as Stephen Thomas is slowly working his way to that gaggle of MX-5s. First one up is going to be Chris Thorman, and then you've got David Payton, George Fike there as well, Richard Losper. So fairly small grid tonight, 31 cars, but just looks small for the MX-5s. Normally a few more. We're missing a couple of people that I certainly know of. Kip Stevens, yeah, and a couple others. I'm not normally the stat man, so I leave that for the guys to do the name drops and look it up. So apologies, you won't get any of that tonight while I'm here. Be sure to rub it in on. It only should actually be Adam who should be here. Andrew said that he wouldn't be able to make it because he was working tomorrow, first thing in the morning. But yeah, so we'll make sure we give Adam some grief on Facebook and Twitter tomorrow. Sound asleep. We all should be sending in pokes and things like that right now. Tyler Shiflett, 9th place at the moment. Again, another driver who I would think should be a little bit further up the field. Russell Ruddock in 8th. Michael just ahead of him. What's going on with Burgett? Burgett's around. Issue for him. Just saw him slow. See what happened there. Where is this? Not too far from the end of the lap. Oh, and that's almost exactly where. Who was it? Who lost it earlier on? But almost identical instant. Just really trying to save the car. Didn't quite spin towards the tyre wall, so didn't have that to deal with. I think it was Tyler. Was it actually Tyler did that earlier on? I can't remember. Damn, right on the back of Kevin Ford. Ian Nucci has got through. We missed that while just checking out that replay. Let's see if we can't go back and pick that up. Maybe it was a little bit further back as well. Right, it was some time ago. Let's see if we can get this. There's the tail end of it. It was going around the outside of turn 1, turn 2. Let's go back just a little further, see how he gets into that position, because that's an extremely tricky thing to do. Doesn't look like he's got a particularly great run there. Up the inside all of a sudden. So I'm not quite sure what happened to Kevin. Just looked like he lacked a little bit of pace coming out of the final corner. And actually, Ian Nucci made it a little bit harder for himself by just running in there a little bit deep. Gave Kevin the opportunity to try and come back around the outside. But always going to be one winner there. Yeah, and now he's got some serious pressure in the form of Mike Dam. Let's get back to live, and a whole bunch of traffic in front of them as well, just to compound problems. And Ford just about holds on to it, but that's not going to help his exit once again, and Dam is straight through. He'll use the power to get by the traffic as well, and potentially scamper away. And Ford managed to get through as well, but yeah, you could just tell that Kevin knew that he had to get by the traffic as quickly as possible there, so he was going to be under a little bit of pressure from Mike. And in the end, the pressure just that loud pedal, just got a little bit aggressive with that, and yeah, did himself no favours whatsoever. You can see actually tyres are pretty cooked at the minute as well. He just lit the rears up once again coming out of the end of the first sector there, and just almost lost it. Again, not quite as severe, but yeah, goes to show a little bit of pressure. So Dan back into third place, 1.4 seconds behind Ian Nucci, still lapping just she was just a hair slower than Stephen Thomas the last time by. So we've only got 37 minutes of this race to go. The race is absolutely flying. I expect to see pit stops very, very shortly. But yeah, he's got a bit of an order. 3.8 seconds is the lead now. Just take a quick look at the top gap as he comes across the line. He makes it 4.1, and that's with the moves and the traffic that he's had to deal with. So yeah, lost himself another 0.3 of a second that lap, but does close back in on Iannucci ahead of him as well. So this is going to come down to the wire. This one actually, there's a couple of little mistakes from the two drivers of yeah, going to make it interesting towards the end. But yeah, Pascal just can't quite match Steven at the moment though. Steven's still pulling away from him. What's going on a little bit further back? Take a look. Brian Holmes is stationary, and he's gonna retire there. How did he get there? Take a quick look. Oh, he's still trekking. Oh, that's the tail end of it. So it's just after this sector, so not really fighting anyone here. So is it going to be a mistake? We're going to have is it a hardware problem? Or he's gonna lose it. Ah, he did just lose it, and then of course he just went trekking, trying to get the car around, and yeah, straight into the tyre wall, unfortunately, and some potential damage there. Not away, he's gone and retired back into the pits. So that's yeah, that's Brian's race done. He won't want that. That's not going to help him for the championship. Of course, very, very close in the championship right now, and that's going to set him back big time. Richard Losper and Dan Carrido very, very close as well. 2.2 seconds. They're obviously battling it out for their respective championship too. So Richard will not want to lose any points that he's got on his lead. But yeah, looking at lap times right now, Dan looks very, very comfortable out there. Katila, what's going on with Katila? He is into the pits. That's why he's dropping down. Frankie, Hartley, Rathje all through. And I think a good portion of this MX-5 field is going to get through by the time he comes out. Mike Griffith having a little look on Ruddock right now, up the inside into the final corner. Got a great exit. He's going to be able to use Michael to get the draft, and actually Michael comes into the pits. And yes, we're seeing a whole host of pits right now as we are not quite halfway through this race yet. Iannucci also in. We saw him coming in as well. Sees what sort of stop that he does. 17, 18. This is a long one. 18.8 seconds. And where is Jacobs right now? If Jacobs 15.7 seconds. That was a really good stop for him. So yeah, a fairly long one for Iannucci. As Ruddock does a 21.6, so I take it back. Both Michael and Russell in the 21 seconds. Bateman coming in as well. See what he does. Oh, here comes the rest of them. That's our leader into the pits as well. Takes so long, get the pit service there. Almost people are lapping. Oh, this could be interesting. As yeah, our leader almost gets a little tag in the pit lane, but fortunately was spotted early. Yeah, so Svenke currently showing 13th overall, and I'll tell you what, he's going to pick up a whole host of positions here with the pit stops, so this will be quite interesting. See where he's actually going to come out overall. See him in the top 10. Maybe the top 5 for the first time overall. Starting to lap some of his fellow MX-5 series drivers as well. Oh, he's not quite going to get Whitworth out, just ahead of him as well. So yeah, Svenke up to 12th after the pit stops. So yeah, I take it back. So Iannucci's 18.8 seconds actually looks very, very good right now, because there is Stephen Thomas tucked up behind him, about 2 seconds back, but 25.3 seconds for Stephen, crazy long stop compared to everybody else, at least 4 seconds longer, and that's put him right back in this pack because Dam is on his tail now as well after doing a 21.2 seconds, so he's lost a few seconds on Inucci as well. So all of a sudden this race just blows right open again, and who knows, I think we're going to have a great little three-way battle at the end of this one. Where's Kevin Ford? He did a 22-second pit stop but has lost quite a bit of time on the rest of the guys now. Mikey Grems, he's into the pits. A couple of MX5 drivers have pitted as well. John Allen's been in, David Payton's been in. Payton was with 16.9 second, but Allen was 23.7. Still ahead of Payton at the moment, but yeah, a very long stop for Allen. Normally Allen's the one that we see is about 1-2 seconds shorter than anybody else in that field, so yeah. Doesn't know the fuel numbers, not trying to risk anything, just playing it safe, I think, maybe this week. Drivers that haven't pitted right now: Tyler Shiflett, Leon Wright, Raymond Bader Jr. Those guys are still out there in the Mustang class as Tyler goes through for another lap. Leon finds himself into the pits, so bang on the halfway mark for Leon. And let's see what Raymond does. Raymond's in as well, so yeah, Beta Jr. tucked in. So only Tyler that's managed to get it past the halfway mark. He'll have no such issues to worry about with fuel or anything in half of this race. So once this all plays out, we're going to have Iannucci into the lead, followed by Stephen Thomas and Mike Dam, and you can just see those three at the moment on track. There's nothing between them as well. Lapping very similar lap times as well out there, and yeah, this is exactly what we wanted to see after the pit stops. I was a bit worried going into this one that we might see a lot of separation out, and I think we could have done, because there's definitely different paces out there amongst these three right now. And I think actually, I don't think Pascal mind me saying he's probably the slowest one of the three, but he's got his strategy on balls on the ball so far. As long as he hasn't underfueled, we should be okay here. And yeah, we're gonna have a great battle. Not gonna be easy for them to get by. Thomas trying maybe with a run. This is as close as he's been. Just go on board. You just don't get enough of a slipstream. Even down the main straight, it's just so short. As MX5 just appears out of nowhere on the right there. That's going to put you a little bit off going into the first turn. Just see, Thomas looks a lot more assured on the brakes. Iannucci just sort of flickering the brake pedal a little bit. I hope that doesn't indicate some sort of hardware problem for him. Tyler Shiflett's still out there, hasn't pitted yet. He's going to go as long as he possibly can. Oh, great run there for Thomas. He's going to have an opportunity maybe to get alongside. No, he can't. Going to head in towards the final sector. Needs to line up here, get an absolute awesome exit. This is what's going to give him the opportunity. Picks up the gas. Perhaps a slight higher gear. Just doesn't seem to get quite the run out of that corner as Iannucci did. And of course, as soon as that happens, get nothing. But what we have got, oh my word, as Dam was so close. He was 1/10 of a second coming out behind there. So just goes to show that Thomas's exit just not quite as good. This is great racing between the three at the moment. Very close, nothing between them. All of them wanting to get by. Thomas knows that he needs to get by as quickly as possible. Dam is all over him, just waiting for an opportunity. I think that's the thing that's going to make this overtake even harder for Stephen right now. Is he needs to be committed to it. Once he goes, he's got to do it, because all of a sudden, Dam is just going to fill in that vacant space that he's going to leave on the circuit, on the main line. and there's a possibility he'll drive straight around him if he has to check up and out of some sort of failed overtake attempt. So it's going to be great. A couple of drivers still to pit in the MX-5s. Richard Losper and Carrido's in now, so Losper going the longest of anybody now. He's the only person that hasn't pitted. Seems to always manage to eke the fuel out, does Richard? And Dam on the inside of Thomas. Thomas can't do anything down into turn 1, and Dam sweeps through. Got a fantastic exit out of the final corner. Made all the difference. Said that Stephen felt the need that he needed to get by as quickly as possible, because that was likely to happen. Dam is definitely the quickest driver out there at the moment, but just needs to sit tight, because he could well do exactly what Dam has just done on him, because that's got a little bit slower in some of the corners, and you have to check yourself up a little bit when you're behind. Of course, you can't want to hit, or Mike certainly won't want to hit Iannucci at all. These drivers got a lot of respect for each other out there, and yeah, that can that respect can sometimes mean you just check up that a little bit too much to make sure you don't hit each other. But then, of course, you open yourself up to getting jumped from behind. Still another little good battle going on a bit further back, and that is between Mikey Grims and Brandon Whitworth. I'm not sure who that is further back. I think that might be Ruddick. Yeah, so Whitworth that we're seeing on screen right in the focus, right in the middle, he is 3/10 ahead of Graham. I'm not sure who that is in front. Actually, I can't quite pick the car up on my timing screen. But a lap down at the moment. Is it Berg? Yeah, there it is. It's Michael Bourget. So he obviously had that massive moment earlier on. Back to the front. See what lap times were last time. So before they crossed the line, Thomas was actually a 10th quicker than Dam that last time. So just goes to show there's nothing between these guys at the minute. But this time, as they come across, it is a 12.7 for Iannucci. 7.69, and then we have a 6.90 for Dam, and then a 6.42 for Steve Thomas. So yeah, very, very similar lap times right now. Traffic is going to come into a play. Less than quarter of an hour to go. My bad. 20. Less than 25 minutes to go. Or maths, obviously not my forte. Traffic letting these guys go relatively easy, actually. They'll appreciate that, especially Pascal up front. Still Grims not able to get himself by Whitworth. 3/10, got some traffic ahead. Haven't really talked much about the MX-5s at the moment, because there's really not an awful lot going on. Travis Svenke leads the way by some 5 seconds from Richard Losper, who hasn't pitted. It's worth pointing out. I don't think you can make it on a single tank of fuel. We often talk about it, and I'm sure all the guys in the series know that it's absolutely impossible, and they shout at me while they're watching. Just stop talking absolute nonsense. It'd be great to see if he could fuel save, though. Hartley tucked up behind him right now. This is affecting Hartley, though, because it's lapping a little bit slower than Losper is, like in the 119s. I don't really know why he's that slow. Maybe he is trying to make it there. I don't know if it was a bad lap the last one or what. But yeah, all of a sudden, Hartley's finding himself being held up. He's got quite a gap behind, though. If you have a look at where Tom is, he's about 9.3 seconds back from Hartley. So MX-5's definitely seen more separation than we've seen for quite some time. John Allen's a further 8 seconds back, and then another 11 seconds behind. Then you've got Dave Payton. So yeah, huge gaps between these guys right now. But Hartley and Losbert are going at it. It is a race for position, although as Hartley gets very close to the wall. Although Losbert hasn't pitted, but someone to give that place up though. Good on him. And why should he? So 0.2 of a second. I think Hartley would. And he is through. So thought he was going to have a good opportunity to get through there, but through come Kevin Ford, and almost took that opportunity away. But in the end, was able to sneak through as well. So Steve Thomas looked like he's dropping off a little bit, but really he's only 0.6 of a second back. So these top three still very, very close. Not able to find a way by. We're on board looking at Stephen. The roll bar, that's what we're after. Just losing a little bit of time here. Closes in massively, under braking for the final corner. Definitely doesn't get that same sort of run out there, does he? Seems to me, it really seems like he's using a higher gear through that corner than Mike and Inucci. Just late on the brakes, closes up massively, very confident under the brakes. Mike gives a little bit of room at the inside just in case he shoves his nose in there. Very alert, always watching what's going on in front and behind. So difficult. You always got to do that as well with these very close packs that we sometimes get. Shout out to everybody that tunes in and watches it back as well. Thank you very much. If you missed the start and you're wondering why it's just me on my own, well, Andrew said he wouldn't be able to make it this week because he's got a morning appointment. And then I think Adam has just fallen asleep and left me on my todd. So be sure to give him a kick the next time you see him, and talk to him. So, but this is the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. If you haven't seen this series, do go check them out. ExtremeMotorsports99.com. You can get yourself registered for the series over there. Yeah, great series, great administration crew that look after everything here. Nothing but praise comes from the drivers as Thomas just runs in a little bit deep there, Dam on the outside. Having an opportunity to maybe have a little look while this is going on. To remind you, the series is sponsored by Ricmotech. Head on over to ricmotech.com for all of your sim racing hardware requirements. Status quo between these three, nothing's really changed. This is definitely Pascal's best opportunity to get himself a victory ahead of Dam here. So I feel out of the three drivers, he's probably the slowest of the three at the moment, but he's not making any mistakes, and nailed the pit stop. By far the shortest stop, 4 seconds quicker than anybody else. Let's hope he's not short on fuel. That'll ruin it somewhat. Dam does look good out of that final corner. He seems to want to have the pace. If I'm completely honest, Tyler in that slightly higher gear just never gets the run out of there, so he's really going to struggle. That's definitely the main place. Jump back on board with Dam and just see where he's stronger. Mikey Grems has got himself past Brandon Whitworth. By the way, we were looking at that battle a while back. So Grems up into 5th place. Not too much more going on, and the only thing that else is going on right now while we watch this is Richard Losbert into the pits finally, with just 17 minutes to go. Oh, onto the dirt there, pushing hard for Dam. Like a roller coaster, this circuit. Where's my F1 car? Let's jump in there. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Really will seem like a roller coaster. Buy some traffic, gets a good run. You see, he doesn't lose any time. That's what I really wanted to look. Let's watch this on board again one more time. We'll see where he's confident. Goes up a little bit through turn 1 on the braking. Gets a good exit. Slightly different lines, taking a slight wider line in than Iannucci. More traffic to deal with. The 30, what we've got, 28 cars running out there. Raymond Bader Jr. is out. Sancinelli and Ashley Beard also out. Over the top of the bridge, swing it right. Down that little crest dip as well. Car just gets light, doesn't want to turn quite as well. Again, a little bit of adverse camber as we come over the crest there as well, wanting to push you wide, and Mike just gets a little bit of oversteer to this final corner. He just takes a slightly wider line and is able to pick up that gas a little bit earlier, but I tell you what, Iannucci is good through that corner, and that is why he's still leading this race right now. Thomas is 1 second back now and starting to look like he's not really going to be able to fight these guys ahead. He needs them to really get into each other and start battling if he's going to get involved in this. Of course, he did run wide a few laps back, and that's what's set him back sort of 1.5 seconds. So he is gradually closing back in. Got a bit of traffic here as well for Iannucci. Maybe an opportunity for Dam to throw one up the inside. A bit of a surprise. Where to do it though? The braking zones all here are relatively small, even though corners are quite slow, and dives up the inside. Oh, and Dam trying to get by as well, and does. And actually, Iannucci made a little mistake there by diving through. Car got just a little bit loose on the rear and was able to hold it. And fortunately for him, he did get by that back marker there, although that might have caused it. It was enough to give him a sort of an extra half a second just for a moment there, as he was able to hold on to that. Slow car on the left, that's Dan Corrido. He was doing obviously really well ahead of Losper, but now all of a sudden the race meeting goes away from him, and Richard Losper's going to extend his championship lead just a little bit further. We're still not far behind Mikey Grahams, but he is lapping a couple of tenths slower, so we're going to stick with this lead battle. Really nothing going on for the MX-5s at all. Really separated out there now. Dave Payton and George Fight very close. That's about it really, but not too much else. Got to stick with the trio at the front, I'm afraid. Have to feel Dam can get that final sector just there absolutely nailed on. He's the one that's going to be able to get this run. Thomas within a second again, so chipping away lap after lap, closing back down after that little mistake that he made. Definitely in range again. Any mistake, either driver, he's going to be able to capitalise on that. Who's that into the pits? Tyler Shiflett back into the pits. Second stop of the day for Tyler. So not quite sure why. Got that all wrong. And yeah, pitting again. Like damn. Constantly within that half a second. Shows that definitely the quicker driver, where Thomas really sort of struggling to get back in there and hold it in there as well. Did for a moment get it down to 0.8 of a second, but crept back over 1 second. And visually see the gap through the two leaders. Nothing between them, 0.3 of a second as they head towards the final corner. Bit of traffic. Perfect for Pascal. He'll use that just to add a little bit of slipstream, and into the wall goes Dam. Don't think it was a particularly hard hit, and Mustang is pretty robust on the side hits there, so it should be okay. Yeah, into the braking zone, no issues there. We don't see him stepping out or anything like that, so no suspension damage where the car's tracking funny or anything. And yeah, Thomas not able to get by that bit of traffic at the same time, loses himself another 10th or 2 there. So seems to me that the race seems to be against him at the moment, just the way the traffic keeps falling. He gains a couple of tenths, loses a couple of tenths, just can't quite get back in there. I will point out, while this has been going on as well, Rob Hartley has been slowly working his way back towards Travis Fenke at the front of the MX-5s. 5.2 seconds between them, but last lap 0.4 of a second quicker. So he's closing in relatively well. If you can carry on at that pace, he's going to be there. We've only got 10 minutes to go, but that is about what's that going to be, about 8 or 9 laps? So yeah, that would get him there if he can carry on at that pace. And about to take a bit more time out as well. I can see it on my live timing that it's gone down. Let's see, so it was 14.6 the last lap by for Schwenke, and it's going to be this time 14.9, and Hartley does himself 14.8, so only a tenth this lap. Both drivers a little bit slower there, having to deal with Mustangs coming through, I believe. Damn, still 0.4 of a second back, can't do nothing on that one. Katila is slow, and Frankie moves past him, and he's ahead of Ruddock as well. So lapping similar sort of lap times. He's right in the thick of the Mustang traffic. I said he might well get well within the into the middle of this little pack. It looks like probably 12th is as high as he's going to get. He's 12 seconds behind Michael Monaghan in 11th place overall at the moment. Oh damn, as close as I've seen it. 0.2 of a second back. Is he going to maybe have a little look? No, he can't. Just such a short braking zone into the left-hander there. Very difficult to commit to a move. It's a good exit though. Iannucci having to go slightly defensive. Still got enough room to come back onto the racing line. Still flashing those brakes into the braking zone. So yeah, something not quite right there. I think the hardware, we see that sometimes with the pedometers, that they can like spike and cause that sort of effect. I say that, probably on a load cell. So Ruddock and Cantila are fairly close on the circuit to each other as well, 0.6 of a second. And yeah, that's interesting, it says they're both in 13th place. But yeah, so it's 13th overall for Cantila, but 12th in class and 13th in class for Ruddock. So yeah, that one will blow your mind just a little bit. Oh, 0.1 of a second this time! Still can't do it! Sam is trying absolutely everything to get by. Absolutely rock solid defence though from Iannucci. 1.4 seconds back to Thomas again. He gets traffic in all sorts of the wrong places, loses himself a little bit of time. Going to be slowly getting to him in the in that cockpit right now as well. Just thinking, why is it that this traffic just keeps falling at the wrong place? Why can it not just fall for them so they're in the corner, having to wait behind the MX-5s? Give him the opportunity to close right back on their tail. He's nearly 2 seconds out now. Dave Payton and Georgie Fight. Well, they are 0.2 of a second apart as well. Very, very close. George getting a... Oh, I was saying he was getting a great run. It looked like he absolutely nailed the exit. And then all kinds of loose and all of a sudden 1.2, 1.3 seconds back, as you had to get miles out of that to avoid a major moment. Gonna look away and see something else, some sort of battle and miss this overtake. I almost sense it. 6 minutes to go, not long. 6.5 minutes. This probably is about 6 laps, depending on when the white flag comes out. Not sure what Dam's got to do here. He's got to show his nose a little bit in a couple of places, because right now, to me, it just looks like Pascal is happy. He feels comfortable driving with Mike this close. He knows as long as he sort of gets a good exit here, nails that exit. So slow in but fast out. Compromise even a little bit of time through that corner. He knows it's going to be tough for Mike to get by, and I think Mike just needs to start showing his nose in a couple of places, just to give him something else to think about. Really put him under a little bit more pressure. Force him to almost go a little bit defensive, or give a little bit of room just in case he's going to sort of run in there a little bit deep. Just needs to really just mix it up, play with Pascal's mind a little bit, because right now I don't see him making a mistake. He looks very comfortable. Or Steve Thomas as well. Definitely quick enough to be right with these guys. 1.7 seconds back, slowly starts to catch up. He did a 12.7, so caught up 0.4 of a second on a leader that lap. Showing again that definitely got the pace out there. Just needs to get a little bit of luck, and once again the leaders come up towards a MX-5. Oh no, it's not. It's a Mustang, so they're not going to get by it on this straight. But yeah, it seems to be the way it happens. They just catch these cars on the straight at the moment. 4.5 minutes to go. Not long at all. Check in with our leader in the MX-5s. Travis Swanky been pretty dominant, to be honest. Lapping consistently quicker than most out there. Even with traffic. Hartley very quick as well, but just not as quick, I'm afraid, as Travis out front. Everybody else is in a different league today. So yeah, amazing drive for Travis. All he needs to do is keep it out of trouble for the next 4 minutes, and he's going to wrap this one up. I'll come off of him. I don't want to see how that commentator curse just worked out. And yeah, Hartley, you can pay me for that later if it works. Just not a lot of time to go. What is Dam got to do? He's got to do something. It's not working right now. Again, gets a good exit off the final corner. Doesn't lose any time on initial acceleration. Late on the brakes, closing in. Be a slightly wider flying through that corner. Give Ishii a thought that he's trying to go around the outside, or at least get the cut back to get a bit better power on exit. Have a little weave here, just show your nose. Have to go through, but definitely got to try something, because Dam right now just seems to be really content just to sort of sit here for second place. All said and done, this is a very narrow circuit, so just to weave and show your nose here and there is yeah, it's not easy at all. So do appreciate what Dam's having to deal with in there as well. He's got reduced visibility, tucked right up behind Pascal for quite some time now. Back marker moves out of the way. Just not enough draft in this car. Really takes the massive circuits to really get the best of it out of it. So you're looking at your Daytona, Indianapolis, places like that where you can really wind the speed up. Minute and 45, no time left on the clock. Go time for Dam. Needs to get it done. Gonna happen. Ruddock and Katila still very, very close. Further back, this is for 13th and 14th overall, so 12th and 13th in class. See some other little battles going on out there. Nothing's going to happen, I'm afraid, in the MX-5s. They're way, way apart out there now. Damn, out of the final corner. 1 minute to go as they cross the start-finish line. This very well could be the final lap of the race. It's going to be extremely close coming across there. They might just throw the white flag, or they may well just call it a day. Bring the checker out. Let's see. Pascal's hoping this is absolutely the final lap. It's under serious pressure right now. Damn. 0.2 of a second back. That's as close as he's been. Stick your nose out. Have a look. He doesn't. He decides not to do it. And Pascal just able to take his normal racing line. There's no room up at the top of the hill going across the bridge to have a look. Oh, we dip down through this sort of undulating roller coaster section. Going to the left. So a few drivers have lost it coming out of there. No issues this time for Iannucci. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second on the clock. White flag comes out, and the checker flag is instantly out as well. So this is the final lap of the race. And Dam gets a fantastic exit out of the corner, but it's not going to be enough. Iannucci takes the victory with an excellent drive, nailed the strategy, absorbed all that pressure. What a fantastic performance for him. Steve Thomas comes across in third place. Good drive from him. He'll be disappointed that 25.3 second pit stop is what lost him the race today. That's probably an extra gallon or something there that he did not need in this race. Where is our MX-5 leader? Here he comes through the final corner as well. Travis Fenke, absolutely dominant. Nailed the pit stop. He's going to have about, well, I say dominant. Hartley's not too far behind. Here he comes. There he is in second place. He did close in quite a bit in that final stint, but it wasn't enough to really challenge Travis at all. So very, very comfortable throughout that race. Here comes Tom Rathje to take home the final podium position. Great job from him. He'll be delighted with that. Good solid drive. And then we've got John fourth place, just to let everybody know as well. In the MX-5s, we'll get the official standings up just in a moment. Mikey Graham's come across in fifth. Well, right, let's take a quick look at the final. Yep, Iannucci takes the victory, just over 1/10 of a second from Mike Dam. Both drivers made a little mistake earlier on in this race, which thought might have cost them, but it didn't. Stephen Thomas, poor pit stop down in third. Kevin Ford in fourth. Mikey Graham's in fifth. Brandon Whitworth there. Sorry, as my screen flips by. Let me get that back. Yeah, Brandon Whitworth in sixth. Mike Griffiths in seventh. So those two did swap around. So, oh no, sorry, it was Graham's, wasn't it? Too many mics. That's my problem. So, yeah. So Griffiths in seventh. Jeff Jacobs in eighth. Russ Ruddock in ninth. Leon there as well. Michael Monaghan in 11th. Katila finished in 12th, and then first place in class, 13th overall as well. Great drive from Travis Schwenke. Michael Ruddock finished 13th overall as well for the in the Mustangs of Hartley. Then we got Burgett. Green pops down, so 21st overall. Chris Torman, then Georgie Pike, Richard Losbar, and Dan Corrido after he made his error towards the end. Set himself back there as well. Scott Brooks, Mike Cray, Brian Holmes, Tyler Shiflett, all the way down there. Problem for Tyler, Raymond Bader Jr., and your rest of your retirees. Well, I have to say, not always easy to commentate on your own, but when you've got a given fair bit of action, time does fly quite well. And I'm going to bring out the race leader as well. Oh, sorry, Pat, just interfering with your chat.
No problem.
Right there. Well, congratulations, mate. What can I say? Fantastic performance out there. You made one mistake the whole race when you were in the lead. What did you think when you did that? You just ran a little bit wide. Obviously, a couple of laps before it, Dam did exactly the same thing as well. Tricky corner, that sort of turn 1, turn 2.
Yeah, especially once you get a couple laps on the tires and everything is hot, it's real easy to overdrive and go straight off.
And yeah, so I'm trying to remember where it put you back. That put you into third initially. After that, and then you had that little battle with Kevin, yeah, what happened to Kevin coming off there? We didn't quite see. Did you just get a poor run off the final turn? It looked like you looked like most people were struggling to get moves done, but you were able to get a couple of them done there, down and into sort of turn 1.
Yeah, I think you might have missed a gear. That's why I got Kevin, but it was so difficult to pass on this track, and I knew that my only chance was coming in early, and I took 2 tires, so it was difficult holding on the last few laps. And Mike and I think Steven took 4, so I knew if I could get in front, it was going to be pretty difficult to pass.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I mean, we picked up on the fact that your strategy to take the 2 tires. I didn't realize it was the 2 tires. I didn't know what it was, but yeah, the pit stop time radically lower than everybody else's. And I remember commenting on it at the time of the pit stop, thinking, oh, that was quite a long one. But actually it wasn't. It was very, very short. It pulled yourself out in front. And, of course, Stephen had quite a long one as well. So it put him right in the mix. And then, of course, we had almost, if you don't mind me saying this as well, it's like you were probably the 3rd quickest driver out there with Stephen being the 2nd quickest, and then Mike behind as well. So we had a great showdown there. What did what were you thinking? You're leading the way here. These guys were all over you for the whole second half of the race.
Yeah, no, I knew it was going to be difficult to pass here, and it was my only shot. I knew Mike was quicker, and Steven seemed like he was around the same speed, maybe a little quicker. So really my only chance was try to take that gamble of 2 tires in the stop. And if I could get him in front and not make a mistake, it was my best shot. And this track is just difficult to pass. So luckily it paid off.
So short and narrow. I mean, had you had much experience here before?
No, it's actually my first race here, so it's a tough track. It's better to drive and try to put together a quick lap than race.
Yeah. I think I've commentated on a few sort of V8 supercar races here as well, massively overpowered things as well. And
yeah, that must be interesting to watch.
Oh, fantastic to watch. But they suffer exactly what, you were talking about just then. It's just incredibly difficult to overtake. It's more about sort of pressuring the driver to make a mistake.
Yeah, no, but anyway, it's the last few races have been a little unlucky, but it's nice to put it all together and have a result here.
Does the obviously the stat guys aren't here because they're tucked up in bed and left me to it tonight. It's his first race win of the season for you?
Yes, it's the first one this season.
Yeah, well, congratulations again then for that. So I wasn't 100% sure whether it was or wasn't. So, well, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, good to get that one as well. So, yeah, because your season's been a bit up and down at the moment, hasn't it? We always, I think, expect to see you up there. But yeah, for one reason or another, something's just not quite gone your way, like you say in the last few races. So, yeah, it's good to have that.
Yeah, no, it's part of racing though. But anyway, I want to just give a shout out to Frank from Ricmotech TD. Thanks for making this happen, and Kevin and Jeff. They do an awesome job, and the fact that they race on top of everything they do, it's I really appreciate it. And thank you guys. After every race, I end up watching it, but I know you guys are in the middle of the night there.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Well, all the best, and we'll see you next week. And yeah, hopefully we can see a repeat performance.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll see you next week.
Cheers, man. Gonna bring up Mike. Mike, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on second place, or commiserations. How do you feel about that one?
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, I was happy to get on the podium after that spin on my own accord. So yeah, it was a really good race, and I'm happy with a second place.
Well, let's just talk about that spin for a second, because it just looked like you overcooked it in there. But you actually got a little bit lucky, I feel, with that spin, because the traffic was all able to slip by without giving you any kind of damage. You were pretty exposed at that point, I felt, and the natural line is to run straight into your front end there. And I thought, oh god, this could end nasty. But yeah, you got away with it there, and you were able to fight back through.
Oh yeah, if Steven and Pat weren't on the ball there, my race would have been over, and probably theirs too. So that's all on them. They made that clean, and yeah, if it wasn't for them, we'd probably all be out.
Just talk about this circuit just for a moment as well. We said last week when we were doing the interviews that it was going to be an interesting race, a different kind of race as well. And it really was. There was not a lot of difference between the MX-5s and the Mustangs tonight. It looked like it was a little bit tougher to lap some of those cars as well. And overtaking extremely tough. Very, very narrow circuit as well.
Yeah, you know what? Coming into this event, I thought it was going to be a nightmare, and I was actually, it wasn't looking good. So, but I actually had a lot of fun. It's probably the most fun I've had in a really long time. So, yeah, it made for a really intense battle. The fact that the top three of us were able to just battle it out and make our way through the traffic, it was tons of fun.
You can see why the Aussies love this circuit so much. Of course, it doesn't exist now in real life, but yeah, you know, just we were on board a few times with the gyro and things like that. It's just like a little roller coaster, isn't it, out there?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a small track. It's not very wide, but I mean, you don't get a break. You're going up and down and left and right, and it's crazy.
Cool. Well, congrats again for second place, Mike. Before you go, just take it away. Give a shout out to everyone you want to.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the sponsors and the admins, but especially I'd like to thank the drivers, all the guys competing around me who make it clean and fair and fun. So I'd like to give a shout out to them, especially tonight. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. I'll catch you again.
Thank you.
We may as well bring up the full podium. And yeah, Stephen Thomas joins us now. Stephen, congratulations on third place. Although, if I felt like there was one driver in that one who may be a little bit more disappointed than others, it would be yourself, leading going into the pits. But by far the slowest pit stop there. What just talks about the pit stop. Any issues going in there? Was it just all four tyres and a little bit more fuel than perhaps you needed?
Yeah, I mean, I took 4 tires. I think that was the right call based on the track. But you know, I didn't take too much fuel. I ran out on the cool down lap. So you know, I'm not exactly sure what happened. I thought my pit entry was decent, but obviously not good enough. I lost quite a bit of time in there. But man, those other guys are so good. It's just any little mistake adds up.
And then, I mean, after that as well, obviously you were just ahead of Mike, and I think it's fairly fair to say that you guys were kind of in your reverse order. You obviously, Pat, you were a little bit quicker than Pat. You were able to close him down, and Mike just a little bit quicker than you. So we're going to make for an interesting race. But it seemed to me like you had the worst luck out there. every time you come across a little bit of traffic, you know, those guys were just able to sneak through, and you were like having to wait a corner, and then you close back up a couple of tenths again, and you get caught by another back marker. It just, it just wasn't happening for you out there today.
Yeah, it's always tricky on a tight course like that to deal with traffic. But you know, I realized a little too late that Mike should be in front of me, so I was kind of hoping to let him by and maybe try to get the pass with him. But that, you know, it just didn't work out. I followed Pat a little too closely too, and so ended up burning up the tires. It's just when you get a tight track like this, you can't follow too closely. You miss the apexes and burn up the tires. So a little bit of that going on too.
And it just seemed to me coming out that final corner, that was like the one place really you absolutely needed to nail it to get the move done. And it just seemed to be, looked to me as if like you were in a higher gear or something like that, or gear ratio was slightly different. I don't know in regards to the Mustang, but it just wasn't pulling quite the same as the other guys out there, and it looked like you're really struggling to get a run.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Pat and Mike were both using second gear through the last turn, and the way I had the car set up, I couldn't do it once the tires were used up a little bit. It was just the back end was sliding too much, so I had to use third, and yeah, just wasn't getting a good enough run out of it.
Well, still another good result for you this week as well. So a couple of podiums on the bounce now, and you looking forward to next week?
Absolutely. I hadn't even looked at the schedule, but yeah, I'm always looking forward to it. Racing with these guys is a blast every week, so definitely looking forward to it.
Awesome. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to while you're talking about the guys?
Yeah, Kevin and Jeff for putting this on. They've been fantastic, and then our sponsors, Ricmotech and TD's Tree Service. Can't thank them enough for helping us put all this together, and then of course you guys coming out this every week and doing a heck of a job in the broadcast booth. We appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Right, thanks very much, mate. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll catch you next week.
Yep, have a good night.
Stephen Thomas there. Right, let's find Travis. Where is he? There he is. Good evening, Travis. Welcome to the booth.
Good evening, Alex.
Well, bit of a different race for you out there this week. Normally it's kind of like cutthroat, slipstreaming, swapping, changing positions all over the place. But it wasn't the case this week. It seemed to be that for a change you were quicker than a couple of the Mustangs out there. You slipped past before some of your rivals could get by as well, and then you kind of drove away from the pack for a while.
Yeah, I can honestly say that's the first time in this car that's ever happened. So it worked out perfectly. You know, there's just a little battle behind me, and it gave me a little gap, and then I was able to get by that Mustang, like you said, and you know, those little gaps just kind of added up, and when they started fighting a little bit, it would add up again.
Were you worried about Rob towards the end of the race? Because I mean, he was slowly clutching you up, or did you have a little eye on that gap and just sort of manage it a little bit?
Yeah, I was watching a little bit, seeing that we were running really similar lap times, and then it was coming down to traffic and gain here and there, and he'd have a lap a couple tenths faster than me, and I finally said, it's 4 seconds, just don't worry about it, put my head down, and I kind of stopped checking it and then only looked one car back, what Mustang's coming up and such, but I wasn't trying to look at his lap time anymore.
It's often the case, isn't it, when you start actually looking, you actually drive a little bit slower yourself naturally anyway, because you're worried about it. And you just compound the problem. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's I think this is the first time we've seen obviously an MX-5 in and amongst the Mustang field as well, so I was kind of rooting for you to get a top 10 today.
Thanks. Yeah, I can honestly say it's the first time I passed a Mustang on the outside of a corner.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show actually the MX-5 is definitely the car in the corner. We often talk about it being the better of the two cars through the corner, and today, we really saw the difference. The fact that you can actually mix it, being completely underpowered as well. It's
yeah.
This goes to show what a great little car it is.
Exactly, that was good fun.
Well, before I let you go, do you want to give a quick shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Frank at Ricmotech, and also Extreme, and you guys there putting this on. It's obviously this was a good one for me, so make up for last week. It was pretty disappointed myself, so this was a good way to make up for it.
Always good. All right, mate. Well, thank you very much. Pleasure as always. Wish you all the best of luck for next week's round, and well, I'll be there, and yeah, hopefully we'll drag the other lads out of bed.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, cheers, mate. Bye. And last but not least, we've got Rob Hartley, sorry. Hello, mate.
How's it going?
Yeah, good. How was that one for you?
Oh, that was a tough race, man. That's a tough track.
You look like you were in a bit more of the thick of things than Travis was for the best part of that race. Just talk about the circuit. How does this car and sort of track combo flow? How does it feel driving this car around here?
And the car's great around here. I think it's a good combination. Definitely makes you drive the car around here. So many turns.
We saw like the Mustangs. They had really no opportunity to overtake. What was it like in the MX-5s? Could you get that run down into the first corner? Could you get a move done there?
Only on the slower ones that had damage, I think. Most of the Mustangs are pretty fast. They couldn't really make a pass through the infield there, but on the straightaway they could get by us.
Sorry, I mean you and any other MX-5s, you know, because their draft just wasn't enough to get by. Could you battle out there?
Yeah, I think I made a few passes in the turn one there.
Yeah, just seemed like because a couple of times I was on board, it was just like it was a bit touch and go whether you could get a decent run and get in there. It looked like it was, you have to be a bit brave to make some moves.
Yeah, it's hard track to pass. Really, that's the only opportunity on that straightaway.
You guys follow each other so close as well. I mean, what's it like through sort of like the roller coaster section when you can't see anything?
Yeah, you really got to drive through the car in front of you. You're kind of guessing where your marks are off the car in front of you. It's something you got to get used to, for sure.
And towards the end of the race, I mean, that second stint, you had quite a gap to close in on Travis. You were hunting him down, but, were you ever think it was going to be possible? I mean, it was a tall order because he got that little breakaway while you guys were battling earlier on.
Yeah, you definitely never give up, but when he got 6 seconds out on me, I thought he was gone. The Mustangs toward the end there started playing a little part, and I was able to gain a little bit, but when he was hitting his marks and I was hitting mine, we were pretty much dead either.
Yeah, pretty much exactly what he just said as well.
Yeah.
Well, still a good result. Second place does no harm for the championship, that's for sure. So on to next week. How are you looking forward to that one?
That's watching next week.
See, I'm just blagging it like I knew, but I don't know either.
Always looking forward to the next race, Definitely got to get some more practice in this week, so I can try to hang with Travis.
I'm just quickly trying to look it up now. I'm hoping one of the admins is going to quickly jump up here and tell us where it is, but we go. Let's bring up the series. Should know as well. I'm on my Todd. It's my excuse today.
Yeah, that's all top threes though for the races I've entered this season, so it's looking good for that championship. Missed last week. Hey, I had to miss that. That would have been another fun one.
So we're at Suzuka next week.
Oh yeah, that's always fun.
So
Good
that'll
track.
be a good one.
fun
That's
too.
a fantastic circuit actually in the MX-5, I should imagine, and a good couple of opportunities to overtake going into 130R and then again into turn 1 as well.
That's right.
That should be that should be a good one to watch. Awesome. Right, mate. Well, thank you very much. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before I let you go?
Just give a thanks to all the guys involved with this league and definitely our sponsors and You guys for broadcasting.
Cool. Thanks, mate. You have a good one, and yeah, we'll catch you next week at Suzuka.
Thank you.
Right, Rob Hartley there. Right, guys. Well, that just about wraps us up here for this round of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. I have been Alex Simpson, and yeah, this has been Oran Park, and yeah, quite a different race, but yeah, congratulations to Pat and Travis for their victories tonight. Very, very strong races from both drivers, and yeah, Pat especially needs a big shout out for absorbing that pressure for the whole second half of the race, and on older tyres as well. What a fantastic job from him. We'll be back same time next week for the Suzuka round, and of course later on tonight, so Tuesday, for those that it's still Monday, we've got the BSR Formula Renault series, so come and watch that. Getting towards the business end of the season now, as we're heading almost in towards the showdown, so those final places are going to be decided very, very soon. And then on Thursday we've got the BSR Touring Car Pro Series as well. That'll be a fantastic one. Friday we've got just here at the Oceanic F1 Series, and that will we've just got 2 rounds of that left, I believe, now as well, so very close towards the end of the season for that one. And yeah, we're pretty much off for the weekend, I believe. After that, we're waiting for the Club 73 series to start back up, and returning visit for the Euro V8 Supercar Championship as well. So lots to get your teeth stuck into watching on Apex Racing TV. And yeah, next week I'm pretty sure Andrew and Adam will be back as well, so you guys don't have to listen to me ramble on for the whole race. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. It was a good race. I'm glad it was a good race as well. Kept me entertained. 3:30 in the morning. Time for me to sign off and say good night to all of you folks. Catch you again next week.
Focus, determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live coverage Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern.